So, because I had witnessed, by the way, my face is very red because it was very cold outside. Because I had witnessed a police officer being very, like, shame-based and authoritarian and power-hungry, like a few days ago with these young girls who had gotten in a fight, and I arrived to the scene first because I was walking by and heard noise and came and calmed them down. Everybody was relaxing, and one girl, instead of being angry, started crying, and the other girl started, like, taking care of herself and stopped screaming. And then they come in with their lights and their aggression, and so I'm saying it's like their weapons, like, forget the guns and knives. I feel sorry that I say that they should be hurt, brutalized, but it feels like that's what they want. Like, why do they want to bring that energy so old world, like, into the scene? Why do they want to bring that energy? So I guess what I would want to say if I could, what I mean more specifically is that I wish that they wouldn't feel that they need weapons in the world, that they could contribute to an energy like me where you could arrive to situations believing in your ability to connect with the person on the inside. If you're a real leader, you could connect to everybody. Why would you need force to lead? That's not going to make somebody become the best version of themselves. If you really believe in the goodness in yourself, you have to believe in the goodness in others. So I want those who want to use weapons against others. Like, one of them was like, I'm going to have to forcibly remove you, because I was calming this woman down who was very afraid of the police by just being like very like, oh yeah, we don't have to be scared of the police. Like, and he took it really personal, and I was so not impressed with his lack of professionalism. It's too bad I didn't get his badge number. So he's the one who provoked me to be like the energy he tried to put in me. So I released it. There was nowhere like to put it. Like that's what somebody's teaching me about putting things. Like, the police officers cannot be so irresponsible, and they have weapons, and they're threatening, and people are helping. Like, why are they so afraid of losing their jobs? It's not working. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I wanted to make a positive solution, but I didn't mean to say like, oh, their weapons should be used on them, like they deserve just to have weapons. Like, I'm saying that they should need to earn those weapons, about 7 years of training, and during that time they need to learn a lot of other things. Otherwise everybody gets to have weapons. We have to allow there to be, like, because they have too much power now, because some of them are not equipped, and the ones that are not equipped can cause an intense amount of damage, and we're preventing that. So we're not allowing it, and we don't want it to happen here. So we will allow police officers to become the same scapegoats that they wanted to make others. So I don't want them to be hurt. They better start becoming safer. They need to be able to calm down. They need to be able to breathe when they're feeling like mind-body disconnect. They need to be able to stay regulated with the people around them. They need to be able to bring the energy grounded. They needed to have strong presence, self-control. They can't be more reactive than the people who are having reactions in situations. This is a big issue we have. And they have weapons, and you're giving weapons to irresponsible people. So I'm saying, may the people who think that irresponsible people should have weapons and then punishing other people they think are irresponsible. So let's not be so risky, and let's be safer together. So speaking of, and who gave me the strength to be able to call people out, like, probably my dad. So I'm thinking about gifts for my father. Let's say we're talking about men now. So I'm really not talking about female officers, but yes, female officers included. The picture I'm describing to you is the male officers that I've encountered, and yet there was one that was very balanced, very clear, but also the fact that these are, needing to walk around feeling important like little kids, and they have too much, ability to hurt others, to kill people's lives, to end lives, killing weapons, like, and they're being irresponsible. It's very casual about life. This doesn't feel okay to me in the public world, but they're telling me there's other people who are criminals. But I'm saying that they're also not safe, like the police. They're just as traumatized and looking for danger and defensive, like the same as the people they call criminals. And they're in the system, and there's authority, and then there's, like, the same as a gang. They have, so it's like cops versus robbers as adults, or cops versus drug dealers as adults, or cops versus, like, mafia as adults. Like, I don't like it anymore. Let's all decide that we don't like it anymore, because even the police officers are, not really benefiting. What kind of life is that? To never face your fears and actually what they call grow up here, and to actually feel like you don't need to live in a world where you're constantly believing that you need to manage everybody else and guard them, like you're not the problem. Like, somebody who's so avoidant that they actually need to get weapons to prove that they're responsible. Could we not enable that anymore? Where's that hiding in the system? We all have to do something about it. So let's say we talk about this masculine energy, and yeah, it's in the female officers too. So I don't want to leave those two girls alone with those two male officers. Like, it should have been two female officers alone with two girls. Like, this is not a healthy system. Which men out there you're okay with your daughters, two girls, maybe under the influence, being left alone with two male officers who don't seem that healthy, who seem really out of control? So just like wondering about you men out there and your daughters, and like that's why I say these weapons on these men, because I watched something the other day where a man killed a guy for putting hands on his daughter. So how are you allowing police officers to have vulnerable women, and then you get so angry about these men doing things to vulnerable women? How are you going to report a police officer? Maybe there's a lot of people who don't. Like, I tried to report a police officer once for an experience I had, and they like try to protect them, you know? We have to be careful about this. So anyway, gifts from my dad, paternally, you would say, like, inherited from nurture and nature. So one, educational gains, childhood training. This is will, focus, problem-solving skills, and then for mental growth and stability. Then forever meeting new or more relatives. So it's about, like, your ability to connect the dots, like whether it's through your parents, through your last name, through your location, through a shared relative, like, okay, so then private inner world, varied interests and hobbies. I used to think it was like, because he seemed distant in some way, like I was neglected, but the silver lining of being neglected is being able to like take care of my inner world. So yeah, I had to. And then oratory skills, like great memory, like communications, basically like this having to be on call or on command for when he wanted to engage, I guess, or in some way have to be available to him in a communication way. It turned out to be like a lot of practice. And then the value of being cute and silly, like, so to disarm him, like to be able to make him feel like I was like not a threat, I had to be like very cute and silly sometimes. And it's like humiliating to make someone do that. And that's what certain, like, some people in their position of power, they try to shame or manipulate, yeah, like humiliate. That's what they use their power for, not to please, not to satisfy. And this is a big issue with men. And then men want to pretend it's not happening, being in denial, and abandon when because they're afraid of rejection, or they're so afraid of being the one who displeases that they actually cause the displeasure. So then there was somebody who I was processing the experience, which made me close my heart, with a man named Aaron. I don't want to ever forget it. He said, if he didn't ask if I ate, didn't share anything of himself, open up to me, didn't have any curiosity about me or my life, or the emerging new version of me, us. He's not worth this much effort and trying and waiting and compromising. He was capable of going to bed after causing me vulnerable, sensitive, shy, sensitive heart, suffering, ache, pain. He takes me for granted. He betrayed my trust. I believed the love was real, but he only pretended to love me, to open my heart. And then he hurt me repeatedly on purpose, cruelly, shaming me, entrapping me, humiliating me, manipulating. And then he blamed me for his violating me as he transgressed me. And he said we're not in a relationship to avoid responsibility when he's not enjoying things conveniently yet, not when he's feeling good with or because of me. He said I'm a burden and demanding and unattractive because of my neediness. He hates himself, so he hates me, and his self-loathing means he feels so unworthy of love that he's disgusted with my loving him. And then there was a man, Benjamin, the first man I ever had relations with. I felt he wanted me to kill myself, my inner child, like, and I feel like that infected in a way for a certain amount of time my umbilicus, my virgin identity self of how other men later got in order to be seen. Yet he abandoned me. He left me for the wolves, and treated me as replaceable when he found someone else, this woman who wasn't Jewish, to sell her soul, who looked like me even, and forsook me as lost through the cracks, and the resulting void is yet to be filled by someone who has and love and goodwill for me. And the thing is that it was never, I feel, supposed to be his space. He tried to bury himself under my wing, like, and I was just thinking about this earlier. Like, he didn't care if he would break my wing. He wanted to hide under it that bad. There's this woman, Afsa Rosette, on Instagram, and she said, not everyone who knocks on your door has the capacity to come inside and build. Some just want shelter for that night. My job, she says, as me, as herself represented as me, is to know myself well enough to enjoy a conversation without constructing a future, and instead of dating to find a partner, date to study your reactions, where there's self-abandonment, and who I become in uncertainty. How much silence I can tolerate before performing for reassurance. Dating is one of the deepest spiritual mirrors if you let it be. I just want something real, but reality is uncomfortable. Not trying to change someone when I see they're not ready. Problem isn't people wasting your time, but trying to make time mean something. Every conversation doesn't need to lead somewhere. Sometimes chemistry is just recognition of an old wound, not a new beginning. Dating doesn't have to be about testing, analyzing, proving, but observing, which requires neutrality, which requires self-trust in order to stay still long enough to see who's in front of them. Getting closer doesn't always mean sharing more. I like that. Getting still long enough to see who's in front of you. Getting closer doesn't always mean sharing more, but sometimes closeness is about saying less, watching, letting a person's patterns speak before their promises do, and suffering can be from skipping the stage of witnessing and going straight into wanting. The work is not dating someone better, but learning to differentiate between ease and escape, and between energy that's calm and energy that feels numb. And I think that is all. I want to wish us a Shavua Tov Umavorach with good music, warmth, the fire of life, being good company, being pleased with what's offered, feeling the power of Mashiach in our lives, real, and enjoying the fruits of the harvest of the cultivation of the honesty and compassion, respect and responsibility that was worked on, and continuing to receive the blessings of love and peace and grace and hadras panim and beauty, and to feel loved even when the person is not there, and to build trust as a corrective experience, as a healing, to be able to feel safe enough to stop trying to be the giver versus the receiver, and allowing the giver to give by receiving. And trusting the divine masculine. The receiver is the feminine, trusting the divine masculine, and Hashem being the divine masculine, this as the source for the. As a female, you have Hashem as a divine masculine in the male also, and as a male, you have Hashem as the divine feminine in the female also. So experiencing being in the one will, and then Hashem is the giver of the guidance and protection, the love and the peace, and hoping this year to become more generous, balanced, private, patient, and whole for all of us. May we work already to receive these blessings this week in a flowing, cozy, calm, comfortable way. And may Hashem bless us with motivation, self-confidence, and solutions. May we be successful in our endeavors and be protected. And may we have good dreams and good memories. And healthy levels of oxytocin and sunshine and fresh air and exercise and nutrition and being with people who love us and who we love and feeling at home, feeling empowered. I hope for all of us that we have what we're working on coming already to us this week, and the experience of the growth underground that's actually happening. Experiencing it, even if it's not yet sprouting.